Shout out to Kop-Ish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
Keep all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that, guys. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys. Yes, people, hope you're well and welcome back to the channel. Sunday is the big game. We've already done a preview, but what we've not done is a combined 11. So I thought, who better to ask than the man, the myth, the legend, Carefree Lewis in the building. How are you doing, bro?
I'm great, bro. It's great to be back. I won't lie, I've missed that intro. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, but it's good to be back. Good to be in this run of fixtures as well. Like I've said all season, I'm excited for this run specifically because I get to see where Chelsea's level's really at. So yeah, look forward to the weekend, man. Look forward to chopping up the game too.
No, I hear it. And do you know what? I've said to everyone, I think this is the biggest test for both us this weekend. I think for yourselves, it's the biggest test since Maresca's come in, and for Slot, it's definitely his biggest test as well. I know we've played Man United and AC Milan, but I don't think those two teams compare to what you guys have done this season. Is the same feeling sort of happening in the Chelsea camp, or is it only Liverpool fan feeling like that at the moment?
Oh no, it's the same thing for us. Biggest test by a mile. I know we could say Man City first game of the season, but I don't really think it was a fair test for us. First game in on the Maresca, you face the Premier League champions. Jackson's got 30 minutes worth of pre-season, same energy for Palmer. Even with Rodri out, we were never winning that game. It was just a matter of how big the scoreline was going to be. Even then, I think we handled ourselves pretty well given the circumstances. But now we got 2 months under Maresca. The players seem confident. I think confidence in the manager is growing. But for both of us, like, we need a statement. We need a statement. We need a big scalp. And going to Anfield and getting a result is like one of the biggest statements you could make to the rest of the Premier League, which is why this game is so important for both of us. For you, I think it'd be your toughest home test. For us, it's just our toughest test in general. And I think now we're in the ideal scenario to take this sort of challenge. Like, regardless of what happens, you guys are still going to be favourites. But for us, it's the first time in ages where I'm actually looking forward to this fixture. I actually have a little bit of confidence for us.
What gives you that confidence? Do you see a little bit of weakness in Liverpool? Are we not the same animal that we were before? Or are you just better than what you've been over the past few seasons, in your opinion?
It's solely from a Chelsea perspective. For you guys, if anything, you could argue that you guys are more defensively solid than you guys were last season, for example, or the last 2 years under Klopp. It's literally just, I believe in my manager for the first time in years. I believe in the crop of players that we have for the first time in years. Obviously, this isn't their final form. They can only get better from where they are now. But it's actually a really good attack. It's a solid midfield. The defense, some questions still. Obviously, we've got suspensions on the defensive side as well. But even there's been an improvement from the first few games of the season to where we are now. So we're in a position where you have to respect Liverpool going into this game anyway. Table toppers, least goals conceded, least conceded XG. You're better defensively than you were before. But it is best defense versus second best attack. Yeah. So it's a really good matchup.
Completely agree. One of the phrases you just mentioned there, which I've not heard you say in a while, is I trust my manager. When we've been doing some shows together over the last few years, it's been rough for you. What's given you that trust in Maresca, and why have you been able to trust him so quickly into this process as well?
A bunch of reasons. Number one, he doesn't waffle. Everything he says, he stands by. He doesn't contradict himself. I've seen visible improvement already in the way that we play and in individuals. Like Robert Sanchez is looking like one of our best players this season. If you told me that 2 months ago, I would have laughed you out of the building for that one. I've seen Fofana improve. I've seen Colwell improve. Enzo and Gusto ain't been all that this season, I'll be honest there. Caicedo's been Caicedo. Jackson has improved this season. Palmer's continuing the form that he had last season. Noni, I've seen a visible improvement in him this season. He's been one of the most improved players that I've seen. The squad depth and the squad management has been brilliant. We have literally 2 separate squads, which means we still maintain the 1 game a week principles that we had last season. The squad depth's already good. We're not rushing players back, which is genuinely the first time that I've seen that in about 4 years. I use Reece James as an example. We are telling him Had to be for the weekend.
You noticed. I noticed.
Yeah. But like every manager from Lampard to Tuchel to Potter to Pochettino, they all rushed Reece James back. This is the first manager who's like 1 game a week. Like slowly, like Wesley Fofana, like Lavia, we're bedding them into the team at their own pace and not a second earlier. We're not used to that. We haven't had that before. And this is all just within his first couple months. Like, there will still be setbacks. Like, I don't think we're going to be amazing this season. Otherwise, we're talking title race. And I don't think we're going to be in a title race. But for what I've seen already, he's on the right trajectory. And that's all I needed. Pochettino was lies and waffling from the start and just crazy tactics and crazy game management. That's another thing with Maresca. We're actually better as the game goes. Like, for me, my main aim going into this game is don't be losing by half time, because I expect us to come out in the second half and be better, because his game management always seems to be on point. It's all the earmarks of a great manager for the future, or one that's on the right trajectory to be there. No lies, no waffle. No, we're not dropping silly points where we shouldn't drop based on game management or poor tactics or anything. My biggest annoyance with him was that the subs were too late against Forest.
Yeah.
Compared to last season where I had a 100-page point list on Pochettino's errors and I still missed out stuff. I still missed out Arsenal away or some of the stupidness at Everton away, for example. So, yeah, like it's been night and day already.
You speak about having the second best attack in the league. And look, you added in the summer, but you look at Madueke, Jackson, all improved, but you've also let go of Sterling to Arsenal. You've brought in Sancho, who has looked completely refreshed. Do you think this is a game of literally seeing who has the better defense and who has the better attack in the sense of from the statistics standpoint? Or do you think it's going to be one in a different area of the pitch?
I think midfield's always going to be a factor just because there's question marks on both Argentine players. Because don't know if McAllister's going to be fit now. I've heard he's a doubt.
Yeah,
and Enzo, like, he's not been on form this season. Well, he's had good games, but he's also had a lot of disappointing games. So, like, out of all the midfielders, he's the one that I'm really looking at. Like, I need you on job. I know what I'm getting with Caicedo. If Lavia plays, I know exactly what I'm getting from him. Enzo, I ain't so sure about. But I'm not sure with the defense and the attack either, because I don't think we go into this game and not score. But, like, you guys aren't going to make it easier for us, too. And one thing I've noticed with Liverpool is you guys are a lot better now at minimizing chances.
Yeah.
So, it's like unstoppable force, immovable object type of beat and everything. Something has to give. I can't predict what will. You guys are good enough that you could just shut us out. We could actually turn up and just make a big statement and bag some goals. But
yeah,
I'd say the midfield. Because, like, both of us are very focused on building up in central areas and then trying to release out wide. So it's going to be about who wins those battles. Gravenberch and Caicedo, 2 best midfielders in the league this season. Lavia ain't played enough. I rate his quality, but I can't flex it when you don't start games consistently.
Yeah.
So
yeah, of course,
remains to be seen with him. But I say midfield.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. One thing where I look at Liverpool and think we could get some joy this weekend is the fact that Fofana and Cucurella are unavailable for this game. For me, Fofana, before the injuries, etc., when he was at Leicester and before he just as he moved to you guys, for me was one of the best defenders in the league. Also, looked like he was on the trajectory of sort of being mentioned amongst those elite defenders as he got older as well. Unfortunately, he's been riddled with really bad injuries, really unfortunate injuries, but this season he's come back firing. Colwill again. I know a lot of Liverpool fans dumped on Colwill last season. I maintain that I think there's quality there, and I think he's showing that so far this season. Cucurella's surprised me this season. I didn't think he was great last season. I thought he'd be replaced in the summer. But even in the Euros, he came on leaps and bounds, and so far this season, he's been good. I know you said you don't think Gusto's been too good. I actually think Gusto's one of the better right-backs in the league, though. And I think...
on ability,
Yeah,
it's a form thing with him.
The cup final, you had a really good game against us. He was really resolute in his defending against Diaz. And Diaz, you look at someone like Diaz, who's having a really good start to the season, but someone like Gusto could match him physically. Do you look at Liverpool's attack and think that they pose as much of a threat as they did maybe a year or two ago?
A year or two ago. So are we saying when you guys still had Mane and Firmino? Yeah, no. Not to that level.
Because I'm getting that feeling from rival fans that
it's been in
people rate us just not like they used to. They don't have that fear like they used to.
I don't know with you guys, because like I could say it, but Diaz has been in sensational form for you this season. So I can't ignore that. He's been probably, without an argument, the best left winger in the league. But I still think that there's a couple questions, just a couple. Diaz, does he maintain the form? Nunes is still your starting 9, isn't it?
No, it's Jota at the moment. We're still not sure.
Oh, Jota, okay.
Still not sure what's going on with Nunes with regards to the manager. He doesn't seem to really like Nunes. That again, I could be saying this. He could start on Sunday, but yeah, he doesn't really seem to rate Nunes like that.
Don't blame him. And like, Jota's the better player in general. I've heard he's not really had the best start to the season for you guys.
He hasn't.
But even then, it's like, Jota's capable of a goal. Diaz in form. Salah can have a bad game and still bag. Like, it's been 7 years now. I don't fall for the Salah's having a bad game thing. It's like, yep, goal coming. We already know what we're getting with him. So, I mean, I'd say I still fear the attack to a point. Also because, like, there's questions about us defensively. The biggest thing about it, and like I've said as well, what was it? I said on my last stream, like, this is about earning respect on all aspects of the pitch. Defense, midfield, and attack. This is a game where you can build a lot of respect for the football club. So with that in mind, respect also has to be given to Liverpool and their attack. All three of them are good players. I mean, the fact I just realized Nunes ain't a starter has just completely changed my perspective on that, because that would have been my weak point. Try and zero in on him. You got an informed Diaz, you got Salah, and you got Jota, who's all capable of scoring. So I don't know. Like, we've been a bit iffy in defensive transition.
Yeah.
And I feel like Slot's the sort of manager to expose that, because both managers are good at tweaking their strategy for the opposition. Not completely changing the philosophy, but just little tweaks here and there. So I assume you guys are going to try and take advantage of that. It's just when you play that sort of game, you also open yourself up to get hit in transition as well. So it might be a little bit end-to-end. But I find it very hard to predict this game. Like, I say victory just because it's what I want. My head says 1-1. My heart says 1-0. But
okay, my head and my heart say 2-1 Liverpool. But I think it's going to be a very tough game. I know some fans, like, shout out to Hassam, for example. Hassam thinks we're just going to roll through you guys. And I was like, me and Tom Little were on his stream on Tuesday, and we're like, bro, I don't think it's going to be an easy game. Like, I think we get the 3 points. I just don't think it's going to be an easy game. This ain't last season when we had your Anfield, when we were completely in form and you were in some of the worst form we've seen. Like, things have changed, and you look at Palmer.
And the maddest thing is, like, before last season, we would all do these previews and just be like, look, 1-1, 2-2.
Yeah.
Because we know what it's draw City whenever we play
all over it, literally.
And now after 1-4-1, it's going to be 4-1 again.
Nah.
No chance.
Definitely don't see that.
Rams, you don't go hiding as well. I hope Mac 10 plays specifically for you, bro.
No, big up Rams. Right, people, you're here for one reason and one reason only, apart from Lewis joining the stream. Be like yourself, bro. Combined 11 time. So if there's a position or a player that we can't agree on, then we're going to leave it to the chat. Now, because the chat is so Liverpool heavy and Liverpool biased, we may end up having more Liverpool players. But I'm going to ask you guys in the chat to be as impartial as possible. So
what we're
going to base this off. We're going to base it on players who are available and the form of the players so far this season.
So that's how we get Cucurella out of here. Fair enough.
Say no, I'll be real with you.
Actually, no, it's 1-1 because Allison ain't there. So yeah,
I was going to say. So let's start with goalkeeper, because you said Sanchez has been one of your better players this season. I personally think Kelleher is up there as far as goalkeepers go. I just think he's just got Allison in front of him. So who are you leaning towards for goalkeeper?
Look, I respect Kelleher enough just based off all the cup finals that we've had, but I'm still going to go Sanchez off this season. Because, like, he has genuinely impressed me with his improvement. Before, it was just like, he's had a good game. Fair, it's a rarity. Now it's like, okay, he's doing this consistently now. He came back from the Brighton game where he was awful in the first half and gave away 2 dumb goals and still dropped a brilliant performance against Forest the week after. So now that's telling me it might not just be form. because he's had a bad game and he's bounced back.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm saying Sanchez.
I think most people will say, I'll be honest, I don't rate him, but based on form this season, we've barely seen Kelleher. You get Sanchez, bro. You get Sanchez. Let's throw him in there. So Sanchez in goal. At right back, I mean, picks itself, right?
Yeah, just Max. There's no point on that one.
Cool.
Shout out to Gusto, but he has not been it this season. Not it defensively.
Yeah. I do rate Gusto, though. I can't lie. I really do. Centre backs.
Look, I want to give Colwell an honourable mention because he's been good this season.
He has been.
But you guys have been the best defense in the league, so it's like there's not really an argument. It's just he deserves a shout out.
Yeah, he does. I think again, I'm not gonna lie to you. No shame in my game, Lewis. If anything ever happened with your club and they look like they're gonna fold again and Colwell became available, I'm snapping him up, man.
I understand. Like the whole narrative of him last season was just because a certain manager thought he was a left back because he needed height.
Yeah, I agree. Left back, because I'll be honest with you, when it comes to left back, our left backs ain't really been great this season. But
that would have been the only position in the back four I would have fought for if Cucurella was available.
Yeah.
Even like Vegas had a good season, but like he's only had one league start. It was against Bournemouth. He was poor first half, better second half. I'm calling this the potential Vega legacy game. Because if he has a good match in this, people are going to start respecting him properly. And I get why he hasn't been, because again, Conference League opposition and all of that.
Yeah.
He's done really well, but you need to do it in the Prem. So, yeah, that's why my whole thing for this weekend is earn your respect. If we win at Anfield, people will respect us. They have to. You have to do it first.
Just on Vega, because obviously he's going to be coming up against Salah, right? What are sort of his attributes? Because I can't sit here and say I know much about the kid, but I've heard he's very aggressive. He's quite quick. Is this a game where we should be targeting him, or are we as Liverpool fans potentially going to be surprised by how good he could play against Salah?
Yeah, I kind of think you will be surprised, but even then, it's like you again still have to do it to that level. He hasn't faced a team near Liverpool's quality yet, let alone being tasked with dealing with Salah. He's good defensively. He's an aerial threat. His passing is very underrated. Questions about his ability under pressure and in transition. But even then, like for the most part, from what I've seen from him, very, very impressed with his performance. So I actually wouldn't be too surprised if he had a good game. There'd be an element of it, obviously, because now you've done it against one of the best players in the league. But he's not shocked me to a point where I'm like, oh no, we're playing Vega. I'd rather have Cucurella just because it's Cucurella.
Yeah, of course.
I don't mind our depth, so I don't mind Vega starting either. Like my biggest worry, if anything, is more the right-hand side. Like Gusto going up against Luis Diaz because he's been bypassed a lot this season. Build-up play, he's not been bad. It's defensively where he's been an issue. Defensive transition, trying to get from the inverted spot to going back out wide. That's where he struggled a little bit more.
Yeah. That inverted position, I think people really sleep on how difficult it was. Trent really struggled with defensively from that position last season as well. It does take its toll. Midfield now. Gravenberch, I think, has got to be in there.
Yep. Yeah, it goes without saying. I think Gravenberch and Caicedo both have to be.
All right. So
I kind of think midfield's the easiest thing to deal with because it's just Gravenberch, Caicedo. There's no other option for the 10 in it. It's got to be Palmer.
Palmer, yeah, Palmer's straight in there. Palmer, like I love Szoboszlai, but he's not been the one this season. That's not even a debate. Do you not think Mac could have a chance of starting ahead of Caicedo here? If
it was Enzo, I'd hear it. If it was Caicedo, no, because to me the top two midfielders have been Gravenberch 1, Caicedo 2. So like is no disrespect to McAllister, genuinely. But Caicedo, to me, has been a beast this season. Bar Wolves, first off against Wolves, he was genuinely the worst player on the pitch. Like, kept giving the ball away for fun. Other than that, I don't really think he's had a bad game for us. Nothing really stands out to me. Like, there's been games like West Ham where he's been all over the pitch, breaking up play for fun. Like, looking like an Ecuadorian Kante and all of that. So, yeah, I'd say it has to be Gravenberch, Caicedo, just because I think they've been the two best midfielders.
True.
But
Plus,
again, no
McAllister's
disrespect to
about it,
McAllister.
no, of course, of course. I want to ask you about Caicedo because obviously, you know, me and him have got a little bit of a love-hate relationship because of what he did to us. Is he the key to your midfield? And apart from Palmer, is he the one you have to build your midfield around going forward?
Oh, yes. I was saying this from last season. Last season, he was given a bad rep based off Pochettino and Gallagher. Like, this guy was genuinely saving us game in and game out. He is a breakup machine. His passing, underrated. Positional awareness, sensational. Yeah, he has the odd clamper here and there, but, like, very, very good player. Like, genuinely, 115, brilliant. They can take another 5 million for all I care. Caicedo's the man you build the midfield around. Him and Lavia. I wish Lavia would start on Sunday. I doubt we see it. I think we're going to end up going with Enzo just because I don't expect to see too much rotation from the last game. But, Caicedo, he's been the guy for us by an absolute mile. Even last season. Last season, first half, he weren't great. From, like, January onwards, he was being made to look bad by everything around him. We were playing Enzo injured on a hernia for about 4 months. Gallagher never drops from the starting 11, even though the guy's trash. And he just leaves Caicedo isolated all game. And then don't forget about the midfield structure. We'd have Enzo injured, pressing the goalkeeper. Running around chasing the ball. And this guy ain't fast anyway. He's got no athleticism. And we're like, let's just get him on 10 touches a game, chasing the goalie. How he managed to still look good in games in spite of that was crazy. Games like the Carabao Cup final, for example. Caicedo's one of the few players I look at that and think, you got let down. You got let down by everything else around you. And I feel bad because you gave 110%. You did your thing and like everything else was just set up to die. Now he's starting to get the respect he deserves because the structure's better and because we have a better manager. He's been doing this for the whole year, in my opinion.
You speak about Enzo, and obviously he's your captain and he's one of your most expensive signings, one of the Premier League's most expensive signings of all time. Barring the price tag, though, do you think he's actually someone you need to upgrade on? Because, I mean, you've spoken about Lavia, but do you look at Enzo and go, yeah, all right, the price is the price, you paid it, but we're here to win trophies. Is he the guy to take you to the promised land?
I mean, the Enzo who first joined us, yes. He seems to have lost a little bit of his agility and I'd say confidence as well to a point since. Like, we do still need him in the team because he just has the eye for a pass that a lot of players don't have with us. But it's been a bit inconsistent this season and that's where my problem's been. Because we already know he comes with his deficiencies. He's not great in transition, not great defensively in general, slow, not really that agile. But he is meant to be a world-class passer. So as long as you have the passing on point, I don't mind if everything else is still an issue because I think we can accommodate for all of that.
Yeah.
But it's just been a bit too inconsistent for my liking this season. And that's been my bigger problem with him. Like, I know we're playing him higher up the pitch, which is something I criticize Pochettino for doing, but it's a different structure and a different ideology. Now he's getting more touches on the ball than he did under Pochettino. So if you're in the final third, I don't mind because you're not chasing the goalkeeper. You're not away from possession. You're not away from the ball. You're getting the ball. You're not doing enough on the ball. That's where my problem's been. He's not had a crap season. He was great against West Ham. He was great against Brighton. That was his best game of the season for us. Everything else has just been a little bit too sloppy for my liking.
I hear it. I hear it. Right, back to the 11. I mean, right wing picks itself as well, yeah?
Yep. Shout out to Noni, but no.
Left wing. Does that pick it as well? Does that pick itself?
See, there's an argument for Sancho, but Diaz has been doing it from the start of the season.
How many assists is Sancho on? He's got quite a few assists, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's like 3 in 4 or 5 games, something like that. Sancho, 3 in about 4 games, I think.
Would you try and keep him on a permanent? Because I know he's on loan at the moment, right? Would you actually try and keep him on a permanent deal? Do you think he'd stay?
I think it's an obligation as long as we finish above 14. So it's basically done anyway. Okay. I don't know why that was the decision on it or whatever. And it goes from 20 to 25 depending on where we finish in the league. But there's an argument for Sancho, just not with Diaz.
at the end of the season, he'll be available for you guys to buy for 25 mil.
20 to 25. Most likely around 25.
Oh, no, that's a crazy deal. I don't know.
Yo, we done a number on United because they took Mount 55 million with 1 year left on his contract, unwarranted.
Wild.
Like, I don't get
wild.
it, but cool. Because they did this to back a manager they're going to get rid of at some point this season. I don't understand it. You could have done it already and kept Sancho. Because Sancho's a good player. We already knew that before he left United. He just didn't fit Ten Hag's style of play.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's crazy. Wow. I'll be honest with you. 25 mil for Sancho, you're laughing. You're absolutely laughing. Big up to your negotiators for that. Striker. Obviously, we spoke about Darwin. He's barely played. Jota, as much as I rate him, as much as I think he's great, I don't think he's been great this season so far. I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I don't really rate this player, one, I think he might give us trouble this weekend. But I also think he's been very good so far this season. And that's Jackson. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think he deserves a start here.
Yeah, me too. Jackson's one of the players I was going to fight to start on this one because, like, for me, he's turned the corner this year. The same thing with Caicedo. And if we talk about players that could give Van Dijk and Konate trouble, like Jackson's another one for me. In the Carabao Cup final, even more than Caicedo, this man got let down because we spent like 80 minutes doing hoofball tactics, like with Van Dijk and Konate, and it was driving me nuts because I've seen Liverpool fans say that's the best defensive performance I've seen in a cup final. We made it so easy.
Yeah,
hoofball to Jackson with Van Dijk and Konate is a disgrace.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace. You could play for 3 hours and it would be easy. And even in spite of that, Jackson still made chances. He made about 2 or 3 chances in that game. And then we took him off for no reason in the final. It was ridiculous. Like, Jackson, to me, was probably our best player. Probably our best player in the cup final. And even in the first game of the season, I remember he had like moments like that big transitional play where he was holding off Konate the whole way through. So, yeah, I think he'll have a good impact in this game too. And for this season, he has had his inconsistent games. Didn't think he was great against Forest. Didn't think he was great against Bournemouth. But he's also had games where he's been on job. Games like Crystal Palace. Games like Wolves, for example, too. So, yeah, I think Jackson deserves to be in this team as well.
I hear it. So, people, that is the combined 11. I'll read it from goalkeeper to striker. So, Sanchez in goal. Trent, Konate, Virgil, and Robbo at the back. Gravenberch and Caicedo in the pivot. Salah on the right. Palmer in the 10. Diaz on the left. And Nicholas Jackson through the middle. Let us know your thoughts on the combined 11. Lewis, before we let you go, bro, 2 things. Score predictions, official score predictions. You said you're thinking a 1-0 with your heart or 1-1 with your head. Which one are you sitting on? Which one are you saying with chest, bro?
With chest? Well, let me go cheeky 1-0. Why not? 1-0. Why not? Because if we win, it ain't going to be a battering, but it is going to be a tight scoreline. So I'll say 1-0.
Cool. And I'm going to go over 2-1 win to Liverpool. Lewis, tell the people where they can find you and support you, bro. You're doing some fantastic work at the moment. So please let the people know so they can support as well.
Yeah, we're live on Carefree Lewis G. Hate watches and watch-alongs this weekend. Chelsea Fan TV as well. We're still over there, so keep a lookout for that. And yeah, it's great to be back on the show, man. Big up to you, man. Blessed for having me on.
No, always a pleasure, bro. Always a pleasure. Always enjoyed working with you, man. So just the least we could do. But people, we are going to wrap up there. If you haven't already, do smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We'll be back on Sunday for the watch along over on Big Up, and then straight back here after the game has finished. So again, Lewis, massive thank you to you, bro. And yeah, we'll speak on the other side, bro.
That far. I'm excited.
We'll see. But people, enough love to you all. Thanks for watching and listening. We are Team Kopish. Until we see you next time, stay safe, stay blessed. Take care, everyone.